Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Partially burnt body found in St. Catherine. The partially burnt body of a man was discovered in Dove Hall District in Lindsay, St. Catherine on Thursday afternoon. The body, which up to first time was still unidentified, was found by residents in Bushes, police stated. Reports were that the authorities were summoned to the area and arrived around 4:20 p.m. The police were led by a citizen about 300 meters from the main road along a dirt track close to the Dove Hall River. On arrival, a partially burnt body, appearing to be that of a male, was seen, with what appeared to be burnt-out tires along the dirt track. Heavy rainfall had hampered the police from processing the scene. However, the body was later removed to the morgue. 17-year-old charged for allegedly pulling gun during dispute at school. A 17-year-old boy has been charged for the alleged hitting of a female student with a gun during a dispute at a high school in the corporate area. The Kingston Central Police report that the girl was assaulted after she intervened in an attack on another student by the accused. The incident happened sometime after 11 o'clock Tuesday morning. The police say the female student asked the 17-year-old to desist from carrying out his actions. According to the police, she was hit in the face by the juvenile, and when the student retaliated, he reportedly brandished a firearm. Hours later, he was apprehended by lawmen who took him into custody. The boy was charged with using a firearm to commit a scheduled offense, being in possession of a prohibited weapon, assaulting occasioning bodily harm, and assault at common law. The police say a search of his home was carried out on Wednesday, June 28, and an APX Beretta 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 8 9mm rounds of ammunition was found. The teen boy was then charged with unauthorized possession of a prohibited weapon and unauthorized possession of ammunition. His court date is being finalized. Gang split leads to St. Catherine gun attack. Police are probing whether gunmen made good on their threats following the killing of a man in Windsor Heights Central Village, St. Catherine, Wednesday morning. The deceased has been identified as 29-year-old Ryan Romario Minto, otherwise called Boise. Reporters understand that men, who used to be part of a gang of which Minto was a member, decided to switch allegiance to another in the community. As a result, Minto's former cronies threatened to kill him. Information reaching our newsroom is that about 7:30 a.m., Minto was at home with his mother and other siblings, washing his clothes at the right side of the house when he was attacked. Police said Minto was pounced upon by armed men who opened gunfire, hitting him in the upper part of his body and head. The men escaped on foot while firing several shots in the area. The now deceased was later found beside the house, lying on his back, motionless, by family members. He reportedly had blood on his upper body and face. The police responded and took Minto to the Spanish Town Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The Central Village Police are conducting investigations. Plans advanced for a new fire station in Balaclava, St. Elizabeth. Plans are advanced for the construction of a fire station in Balaclava area of St. Elizabeth. Minister of Local Government and Community Development Desmond McKenzie on Wednesday toured 2 possible sites to erect the facility into the community that borders the parish of Manchester. One of the locations is where the existing post office is and is an ideal location. There is another location further down the road which we thought is also an ideal location, McKenzie outlined. I have been given the assurance by the Jamaica Fire Brigade that by the end of July, all the necessary protocols will be completed and that by September-October, they will start to move into focusing on the new facility in Black River, he added. The local government minister said the funds are available to construct the Balaclava Fire Station as well as the Ultra Spring Fire Station in Trelawney, which is almost ready to go to tender. He said both facilities are vital for timely fire response and suppression, and they reduce the potential for fire to escalate and cause extensive damage where all emergency services may be far away. The nearest fire station to respond to a fire in Balaclava would be Mandeville, and that is not speaking well for the section of the island, because at least 3 parishes border that section. We have Trelawney, Manchester, and a part of St. James, McKenzie explained. So, we are moving with speed to have that fire station up and running in short order, he added. All high schools outfitted with laptops. The Ministry of Education is reporting that the 173 high schools in Jamaica have all received high-quality laptops to replace aged computers in technology labs. Portfolio Minister Favor Williams has disclosed that 9,298 devices have been issued, with a distribution ratio of 54% institution. That's an average. Bigger schools will get more, smaller schools will get less. The minister pointed out, while noting that technology and infrastructure are major pillars of transformation in the Orlando Patterson Education Transformation Report. She was speaking during a post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House on Wednesday. Williams said each high school in Jamaica must give students opportunities to continue their learning about technology, and the students must get experience with technology. Additionally, she stated that schools must prepare students for the Caribbean Examination Council electronic testing e-testing, which will be delivered in the near future. Meanwhile, the Education Minister advised that 16,053 e-vouchers have been issued to primary and secondary school teachers, which are to be remedied for laptops at approved vendors. We will continue our work to get our schools connected with the access to the internet as well. By the end of this fiscal year, we are expecting a little over 600 schools to have broadband connectivity. The work will continue to ensure there is equity of technology in all our schools, thus allowing us to significantly reduce, if not eliminate, the digital divide, Williams stated. Dean Roy Bernard appointed Supernumerary Permanent Secretary in Culture Ministry. Dean Roy Bernard is to take up duties on June 28 as Supernumerary Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports. This was revealed by Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark in Parliament on Tuesday. According to Dr. Clark, the post was created in response to a Supreme Court ruling this year. The court ruled that Mr. Bernard's reassignment to the post of Director General in the Finance Ministry was unconstitutional. The opposition questioned why Mr. Bernard was not returned to the Education Ministry as Permanent Secretary, a post he held up to February 2019. Spokesperson on Finance Julian Robinson argued that with the Education Ministry without a permanent secretary, Mr. Bernard should have simply returned to that post. Mr. Robinson also sought clarity on the new role of Mr. Bernard. In response, Dr. Clark noted that Mr. Bernard would focus on priority policies and programs in the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports. According to Mr. Clark, Mr. Bernard would report directly to the Portfolio Minister.
Yeah, I just want to understand. So at the Ministry of Education, is there a permanent secretary who is not acting in the post at the Ministry of Education right now?
Madam Speaker, the Minister of Education is here and she just nodded to me that there's an acting permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education. There's not a confirmed permanent secretary, there's an acting permanent secretary.
So couldn't we have avoided this by putting Mr. Bernard back at the ministry for which he had responsibility for where there is an acting permanent secretary, and that person would revert back to their substantive post, rather than go through this process of creating a new position simply to deal with an issue which was handled badly from the beginning, where a permanent secretary was effectively demoted, which is what the court ruled against.
In this instance, member, the acting permanent secretary is fairly advanced in a number of policies and programs that are of priority to the government and by virtue of the people of Jamaica. And in the interest of seeing those policies and programs through, having a disruption in the leadership, the administrative leadership of that ministry at this time would not be in the public interest. And therefore, a means of honoring the court decision has been found. The minister in the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport has a number of capital projects that she has pre-announced and that they're up to date, handling the operational aspects of the ministry and developing the capital program has been constraining, and it's therefore in the interest of advancing on some of those initiatives that the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport has, that having a senior person with experience at the level of a permanent secretary to be accommodated in that ministry is in the better interest overall.
Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification